Hello and welcome to another episode of Speaking into the Abyss. I'm your host, Jess, and that is your other host,
Jess.
There are about 60 days as the day we're recording this left in the year. 60 days.
Wild.
It's not that much. And I don't know. It kind of feels like we haven't been doing the podcast that long.
No.
But also now it's the end of the year and it's kind of like, whoa, I guess we have been doing it for a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Just a little second. Yeah. And with that being said, I think I just wanted to, off the top, go back to some of the points that we used to make a lot in the beginning of our episodes. Because it's the end of the year, and, you know, around this time, it gets a little colder, it gets a little darker. People start not feeling like themselves. People who suffer
start feeling amazing.
Sure, some people feel
I love
so rejuvenated,
this, dude.
so happy, so excited. And some people suffer from seasonal depression and get worse throughout this time. Or, you know, maybe it's not seasonal depression. Maybe you just have things going on and it's just a hard time of year. Maybe the holidays aren't the best for you.
Mm-hmm.
And we're here now. We're like in this time. It's happening. And I guess I just wanted to talk about being true to yourself, being like honest, and seeking help when you need to be. Don't be waiting till the last second. Don't wait till it gets worse. Because it's harder to come back from stuff like that.
Yeah.
Keep warm in this cold times. Make sure your car is completely defrosted before you start driving. It's super dangerous out there. And I think it's important to focus on the positive stuff. They say that everything is about your like outlook on everything, right? Mind over matter, that's the saying.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what you're going through, no matter what's happening around you, as long as you're thinking about it in a better way, you'll feel better. Also, stop doom scrolling if you do that. I know that that's like a big thing nowadays, I guess, is where you just like your feeds are just full of bad stuff, which is it's made to push that stuff out first. It's made to push bad stuff out to most people first. It's like what catches your eye and stuff. So if you start interacting with stuff like that, which it can be so hard not to, because I feel like a lot of people tie, oh, if I don't like it or if I don't share it or if I don't whatever, I'm not showing I care, or maybe like they feel like they're not like
interesting.
I don't know, you know what I mean? I don't know what
Yeah.
it is, but I feel like people don't feel like they can just scroll past something that's bad because they feel like they're not giving it. I don't know what it is, but
Okay, yeah.
Scroll past this stuff. Stop making your For You pages and stuff like that.
Which is crazy because I never get anything bad on my page.
Yeah, stop making your For You pages negative and therefore creating a doom scrolling effect where everything you scroll past or everything you look at has something negative to do with the world. There's a lot going on. I'm not going to lie. There's so much bad, terrible shit out there in the world right now. Yeah. Every day there's horrible tragedies happening. But the least that you can do for yourself is protect your inner peace and your mind. And I think it's totally possible to understand that these things are happening and simultaneously take care of yourself and realize that you can't do everything and you can't do anything about everything in the entire world.
Yes.
So
that's a good point.
Yeah, thank you. So pace yourself and talk to your friends. Have some fun. And what is it? We're on borrowed time. You know, every second's a gift. Be grateful. And with that being said, Jess, how have you been?
I've been good. I've been good.
Good.
How have you been? I was trying to like think of my week. It was really busy, like I said in the last episode. Did like something every day.
Yeah.
So like a little tired, but yeah. Regular, nothing crazy. Took Simba to the dermatologist and got him checked out. Starting the seizure of like doing more like allergy testing and stuff and like just kind of starting it off. And like the lady went to see, really great doctor, but she's gonna go on maternity leave. So which works out because he's not supposed to go back till like 4 months to get checked out. But they did give me like kind of like what we were talking about on that episode about you doing like allergy testing type thing, like him getting like the panel and blah 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 blah. So it's like estimated at like 2,000. So yeah, that's gonna be fun.
Really?
But it's like, I don't know, I guess it doesn't seem like that much because within the past 2 months I've spent like about 2,000, if not a little bit more, doing his like ear infection stuff. So it's like, well, if it can help in the long run, because basically what she said would end up happening is like, once they can like pinpoint it a little bit more, then they could start giving him injections or some drops targeting that are under the tongue, and they'll retrain his body to react to whatever.
That makes sense.
And she's like, yeah, I could teach you how to do these injections at home. And I was like, oh no, I'm scared of needles. But I didn't say that. I was like, oh yeah, because I gotta be a brave mom for my baby.
You think you'd be scared of giving it to him because you're scared of needles?
Yes.
Like your phobia of needles? Like doctors can't take your blood or
I have to go
shots?
When I got my blood taken the other day, I was like,
you're fucking making it harder for her. She's like, girl, stop stressing out.
I'm calm. I think I was helping because my blood's rushing. Or like anytime I get a shot, I like have to squeeze my mom's hand. Last time I held Bella's hand, just like,
yeah,
it's just scary. Which is like funny because everyone's like, oh yeah, but you have tattoos and piercings and like different.
Yeah. No, it's so different.
I'm like, there's just like something about you injecting me with a foreign.
It's so different.
Yeah.
Because the tattoos aren't going into your bloodstream or into
and I'm
your
like,
muscles
the
like
piercings
that.
are going through the skin.
Yeah. And it's usually skin made that we know it's not. That's so funny.
Yeah.
No, I used to hear that all the time. When I was a medical assistant, I remember having to take blood from people, usually for whatever tests. Yeah. And a lot of them were users. And they would have these crazy hard veins, like it was hard to puncture because they're just been used all the time, you know, or ruptured or whatever it is. But they would also be really scared of needles too, and I was like, this is crazy. Like, this is nuts. Like, I don't know, but it's just so it's whatever. It's like you figure it out. But I just think it's crazy that like there are, because I've never really felt that fear. And it's
fear of needles.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, I guess I don't. Also, because
it's way less now.
It's almost like I love them. Like, I'm almost like on the opposite.
Are you okay?
I'm like on the opposite side.
I have like this vivid memory of like me in Mexico because I didn't have one of the shots I needed. So I have the little
the scar.
Have the little Mexican thing. People were like, "You're from Mexico." I was like, actually, no, I didn't have all my shots, and I had to get one out there.
Yeah.
And I remember like running through whatever building. In my head, it's so big when I remember it, like running out of the room and then hiding under chairs, and they're trying to get me. Like, honestly, that's probably why I'm hella scared of them.
That sounds
now that I was like flashback,
you're like hiding under something, and all these grown people are trying to
grab me. I'm like,
that's scary. Yeah, that's pretty scary.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Jeez, I swear I just got anxiety thinking about it.
I'm so sorry. I was gonna say, because like that numbness, like I used to get injections for like Depo-Vera or whatever, and the numbness that comes afterwards of like a muscle injection, I love that.
Interesting.
It's like kind of nice, tingly, itchy, weird feeling. I don't know. And then I guess like the needle going soreness in is whatever. Yeah, but then the needle going out, like when it feels good almost. Like, I don't know. It's like
weird.
I don't know.
I'm just kidding.
But then also, as a medical assistant, I used to like love putting needles in people. I was just the best. Like, I swear to God, if you gave me your veins, I could give blood immediately.
Oh, I wouldn't
have to dig around.
You don't have to. I'm a veiny person.
I have small veins, so they can't
I have
give
like
me,
veins everywhere. I actually caught a shot of my veiny legs earlier today, and I was like, I guess I never really like look at how many veins I have.
Sure.
And I was like, I forget. I be forgetting I'm a veiny girl.
I used to love. I still kind of do, but I guess I don't have to anymore. But I used to just love touching the veins.
Oh, well,
like finding them.
You could feel me up whenever you want. Come touch these veins.
Whoa, it's about to get freaky on this
pod. Whoa. I remember I have a friend. She's like an acquaintance from festivals and stuff. And she's a recovering heroin addict. And like one of the times we're hanging out, we're like in the field, like this little like dirt field, like listening to music, whatever. And then she just looks at it and she's like, wow. She's like, your veins are just so beautiful. They're just so nice. And I was like, oh, thanks. Because like that's like a compliment like I've never gotten besides from her. And she's like, sorry, I used to do heroin. So they're just like so nice to look at. And I was like, I was like, thanks.
That's wild.
Yeah. And I was like, well, I'm glad.
What does she mean by that?
They just like really pretty and nice. And like she's like.
Comparatively or in general? Like, does she think.
Oh, no, I didn't ask.
Oh.
I just took the compliment and went with it.
That's nice. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, thanks.
Yeah, I guess I used to have to tell people. Well, no, I didn't have to, but it is nice.
You're like, damn, your veins are hella easy.
I'm like, dang, give me that thick ass vein. But no, seriously, because it is one of those things where it's like, I don't know, it just makes everyone's life and job easier if you have nice veins. So I guess that's the thing. Yeah. Like, congrats. Dude, they fucking fucked me up giving blood before or plasma. I've tried to give plasma. And, dude, my veins aren't big enough, apparently.
Yeah.
They fucking be sucking them. And I'm like,
stop.
I'm sorry. So, dude, I'm remembering the feeling right now, and it's like my arm go numb. Oh my God. Horrible.
Dude, I swear people are like, oh yeah, go donate plasma. Bitch, I would rather get 3 jobs. I'm not going. Dude, they're like, you make such good money. I don't care. Yeah. I'm like, there's tons of other people doing it. I don't need to be in there.
Yeah, that's true. I was going to say, if it is a good way to make some quick money, also depending on where you go, because some places have like really good, like, I guess monetary gain from it, like depending, like you go 3 times in a row and you get like a bonus with it, whatever. And like this one that I went to also has like plays bingo and games in the middle of everyone giving plasma, so that's like you might win. You earn extra money, which is fun, you know. But I just couldn't because my veins were too small. So if you have available veins and you're not afraid of needles, donate blood, donate plasma today. Save a life. We need that for medicine and in case we ever have another pandemic, you know. We'll need a lot of that.
But yeah, how have you been?
I've been okay. I've been having a lot of
seasonal depression?
No, okay. But I think I can feel it coming in. Like, I don't know if like
do you always get seasonal depression? Is that how you feel?
I used to feel like I used to get the opposite of seasonal, like not opposite of seasonal, but like different seasons. Like I used to be really depressed in the summer, but I think I've just figured out that I'm a depressive person.
You're like, it turns out it's just me. It doesn't matter the season.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what the feeling is. But I think that yeah, I think the lack of sun and stuff like that does obviously help contribute to more anxiety, and then it kind of snowballs into like depression and stuff like that, or the feeling that like there's some blah 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 darkness, hopelessness, and then that becomes depression or whatever.
Yeah.
But right now I'm okay. I have been having like these. I think it was like last week. It wasn't like this last week, but the week before that, maybe before the weekend. Because honestly, my days are all kind of jacked up right now.
Yeah.
But I was having these like crazy angry thoughts.
Oh.
And I was like, why am I so upset? Like, why am I so angry right now?
What is hurting you at the core?
I don't know. And, you know, it's one of those things where I just like keep chalking it up to like, what is it? Those thoughts you don't want to have.
Impulsive thoughts?
Yeah, impulsive thoughts where I'm like, no, that's just an impulsive thought. It's fine. Just get rid of it. But then, like, I'm also I need to say everything I think out loud in order to process everything.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, well, if I don't say it out loud, is it just a thought or is it a feeling I have? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and then I'm like, well, if I say it out loud, are the people I tell going to be like, what the heck? That's a crazy thought. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's fine, I guess, if they do, but I don't want to be told that. So I'm just like, I'll just keep it to myself. Yeah. So I don't know, just kind of like these inner monologues, I guess, have been going on about like what I've been thinking a lot lately because they've been so upset lately and they've been so sensitive.
Yeah.
That I'm like, I don't know, like I'm easily triggered and I'm easily like on the defensive.
Okay.
And then like all internally though.
Yeah.
And so like, I don't know what's going on up there, but I feel fine though.
Okay, good.
We'll see next week.
Okay.
I feel fine right now. I think I'll be good. I just, take it a day at a time. Like I was saying off the top, like it's about your mind over matter.
Mm-hmm.
And that, I think that the reason why I have to say that on the podcast is also because that's the best way for me to put it into practice, is to just be like, let me just say it out there so other people also hear about it, and then I know that, like, that's a thought I've put out there. That's what I'm saying about, like, needing to say it out loud.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's me saying it out loud.
Okay.
And yeah, hopefully I started thinking more positively about things, because people are really dumb.
Yeah. You just I don't know.
I've been trying to give benefit of the doubt.
And I think I'm really great at that, because I that's like one of the biggest compliments I get often is like, oh, you're always so positive, you're always like in such a good mood, and you always see the best in everyone. And I'm like, yeah, I guess.
And I guess I can't. Like, I will always see everything negative about everyone first. And I think that's...
Don't speak that out there, Des.
Sorry.
Don't say it. No, I'm just kidding.
But what I mean is, not that I'm judging you on the negative things that you are bringing forward, but I do think it is just like a way that I characterize people in order... Because, like, you know me. I'm not very much like, oh, anybody can just hang out or talk to me. And I don't know why, but I'm very... very particular about my people. Even when you are talking to people, I'll just be standing there because I'm like, I don't know this person that well. I don't know. I gotta gauge them first. And like, so that, I think that's part of it. It's like, I'm just gauging. It's hard for me to, like, off the top give benefit of the doubt, because I just feel like I know that people are terrible people.
Yeah, I know that you feel that way.
So
that you think that way.
It's hard to be like, benefit of the doubt when I know majority of people are bad, but then it's a feeling thing. I feel like I have such great gut instinct that even, like, I don't know though, because like you are such a positive person and you are such a benefit of the doubt person, but that's also why you have really shitty friends sometimes, unfortunately, or like in the past or whatever. And I feel like I wouldn't allow that. Like, if you had asked me my opinion on them, like, from the... not that it's a thing, but, like, if you could ask me, like, if it's, like, almost like a drug-sniffing dog, but it's, like, me, and I'm like, no, this person's not a good friend for you. Like, I could just tell, like, there's something this person has, or something that they said, because, I'm very particular about how people say things. If you say something in a specific way or a specific word that kind of, like, sets off my red flags, I am very much more likely to not talk to you, because I just feel like I don't know. There's just only so many. I hate to say it, but there's only so many types in the world. Yeah.
But then isn't that like that thing that you were told that, like, you just have these, like, things, and, like, because
what are you saying?
I didn't name drop, but because of these things, you're just like closing connections with people because they're not hitting your marks, type deal.
Yes, which is why I said I was like, wait a minute. I gotta be more positive. Yeah. I do have super high standards for people, because I have high standards for myself,
and that's okay.
But I mean, hey, you made the mark.
I make everyone's mark.
But I was just saying, I have these crazy high standards, and Jess made the mark. I'm just saying that, like,
be like Jess.
It's almost like it works.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and I think that's like the thing about, like, I guess, okay, like, my group of friends, like, if I categorize my friends into whatever groups, I feel like, sure, I have a lot of friends, but then, like, okay, which I was kind of talking to you about this during the week, is that, like, I feel like I have, like, surface level friends, and then there's, like, acquaintances and, like, whatever. So, like, I feel like in my head I have those marks, but those marks are, like, different because it's like people who I let into my house. That's like the highest mark you can get. If you've been in my house, you've made it.
Yes,
you've made it. And that. Like, because there's people that I've been friends with for years and they've never seen the inside of my house, and I don't think they will. And not because they're bad people or bad friends, but I just, my space is so sacred, and I just don't want random people in here. Yeah. And speaking of surface level friends, I was listening to a podcast that some of my acquaintances are on, and it was really interesting because I have a perception of this person, and the way they were putting themselves out there was someone I totally didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like with some of my friends, when we have hung out and stuff, we kind of have gathered the same thoughts or like vibe from that person. So it's really interesting to see that person on a podcast and be like, oh, this is who I am, this is this. And I'm like, really? Because I've never seen that side of you. Yeah. And it's just interesting, like, that you have perceptions of people and people have perceptions of themselves. Mm-hmm. And there's multiple perceptions of everyone. But then it's like the fact that you can get on a platform and put out this version of yourself is just like really trippy to think of, because like I think you and I are very open people, and like even to like where you and I have had the conversation where you're like, oh yeah, at work like you're like not yourself, but I've always been one to be like my full self, even if it's not very like work appropriate or whatever. Like that's just who I am, and I feel like I always strive to just put that version out of myself, because why bother like putting up facades of being so many different people? Like, this is me, and like you're either gonna love me or not. And like that's just, you know, that's, you know, I was talking to one of our coworkers, and she came up to me and was talking about how like when she first started to work with us, that she thought that I didn't like her. And I was like, interesting. And I was like, because I love her so much. And she's like, yeah, I just didn't know. And I was like, well, your sister hated me when we started working together, and she loves me now. Yeah. And I was like, it's interesting that people just right off the bat, you're like, oh, I'm going to hate this person, and then end up like having such a great relationship. Yeah. It's interesting.
That is really interesting. I can't say that I ever right off. Oh, well, I can't say that either. I was going to say right off the top hated somebody, but like obviously, because I was going to say the first thing, so many thoughts went through my mind while you're talking. Yeah. One of them was that I guess it is kind of jarring to like kind of know somebody and then see them like in a different light, or trying to be perceived as something else. Yeah. That's pretty like, what? But also, I guess like we kind of do that with like celebrities and politicians and everything. They're literally not those people that we see on TV, but I mean, we accept that that's who they want to show. Yeah. And so it's like, yeah, I guess like, and that is something that I have fun doing, which I don't know how to explain, but it's like I have fun letting people tell me
who they are,
what they want to be perceived as.
Okay, yeah.
Because there's something super sweet and endearing about that to me. Because even if you are a shitty person, there's something so like nice about the fact that you want to be a nice person. You want to be perceived as a nice person. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so like that is really interesting. I feel like I've been written off a lot. I've heard like, oh, you just seem super unapproachable. You didn't look like I could talk. You look like a bitch, or like whatever it is. Like I've gotten it all, and I feel like, and it's crazy because I am a pretty approachable person. Like I feel like if any random person came up to me, I'm not mean. Like I've never been like, what the fuck are you talking to me for? You know, I've never done that. Who the fuck are you? I've never done that, and like so it's always so surprising to hear stuff like that. But I guess that's the way I always wanted to be perceived growing up. Does that make sense? So it worked out. Yeah. And it's like that's just who I am as an adult.
Yeah,
now.
You put that onto the world, you manifest. You know,
I have all these facial piercings. I don't smile. Terry. I don't smile. And these are all for whatever reasons that they are. Yeah. They all exist and they create who I am now. Yeah. Obvious. And that's why I've totally been okay with like I always go like, why do they feel like they can't approach me? But then if I'm honest,
sitting there like this.
I literally I'm like, but it's not on purpose. Yeah. It's just my face. Yeah. But it is one of those things where it's like, I don't know. And then you come up to me and I smile because I'm like, oh, I didn't even realize. Especially when I'm spacing out. All I do is space out all day. It's like, of course I'm not smiling. I'm not even here. So, I don't know. I guess I try. And that's what I mean by like, I think people's words are important.
Yeah.
And what they
yeah.
choose to say.
Yeah.
You know, actions speak louder than words.
Yeah. Yeah.
But not
And see, like, when I was listening to that person, I was like, interesting. But then, like, because I am the person that I am, I was like, well, they've grown so much since I last, interacted with them.
Or maybe that was them changing. They were like, on this podcast, I'm going to say this shit, and then I'm going to start doing it. You know,
because I put it out there.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. They're doing what you're doing. You're like, I relate. I think that person got it.
I think that's crazy. I think it's crazy. We have talked about it on the podcast before. Everyone is always ever adapting. I don't think that everybody, like, who I deem to be a bad person is a bad person to everybody.
Yeah,
they could have just been a bad person to me. You know, that's just how, unfortunately, how the fucking cookie crumbles. Mm-hmm. But I think there are terrible people out there. So just, I don't know. I'm just very cautious. And that's the other thing that popped into my head when you're talking about, like, your like different levels of friends and stuff.
Yeah.
I guess I don't really have that.
Okay.
I either have, like, you're my friend or you're not.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Yeah. I guess that's like I guess that's where I haven't perfected the balance yet. Okay. You know?
Yeah, that way you allow more people into your life, and, like,
don't expect all of that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's what I'll work on next.
It's a pretty interesting balance, but, like, for me, home's the haven.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And sometimes I remember one time one of my internet friends that came over to hang out with me from, like, across the states was, like, road tripping with two other friends, and, like, then, like, a few months later after was like, I'm so sorry I brought those two people to your house. She's like, so they were bad people. And I was like, it's okay. Yeah. I was like, I trusted you, and, like, I feel like you should trust your gut, and if you feel safe around people for a certain amount of time, even if they do end up being shitty later, while they were with you, they were safe enough to bring. Yeah, exactly. Because why else would you go on a road trip across the country with people?
Well, that's crazy. I remember my friend telling me this story about after they helped their friend move or something in a different state. So they had to travel out of state to help them move. Yeah. That's awesome. I was like, wow, what a good friend. That's really nice. Yeah. It was not just one state over. So it's like, cool, whatever. And then they had went all out and stuff. Like afterwards, they all went out. I guess their friends from that city, and then my friend all went out or something. I'm not really sure how it happened, but then they all wanted to go home or something. Yeah. And my friend was, like, I guess kind of buzzed or drunk or something. Okay. And they kind of, like, thought that they wanted to hang out with this person at the bar that they had met at the bar or whatever. Okay. And I don't know if they did or did not. They probably, I'm sure they look like it. They're probably having a good time or whatever. So they all left. My friend at the bar with the friend, whatever. Then I guess my friend starts getting walked home by that person at the bar, and some other person that's friends with them comes with them. So it's two people and then my friend. Okay. And my friend's drunk, and they're walking home, walking my friend home to this person's new house. So now they have to find their way through this place that they haven't been, and whatever. And then I guess it got really crazy. Like I don't really know the details too well, but they ended up having to run and stuff because, like, the person ended up being really creepy, and it was like this really sketch situation. And they ended up making their way home, thankfully, and their friends were, like, none the wiser, like, just sitting at home totally chilling. And I was like super mad for them because I was like, dude, if that was my fucking friends, I'd fucking beat the shit out of all of them, and then that'd be the reason why we're not fucking friends anymore, because that's crazy. But then my friend's like, but, like, they didn't know. Yeah. And I was like, I know they didn't know, but they left you.
Yeah. There's just something, I don't know. I will always put out that I'm a great, amazing friend because, and I never thought that until people tell me stories from their best friends. Like, oh yeah, and, like, a lot of them would be, like, at festivals, and, like, people are telling me about, like, the first time they did a bunch of mushrooms or did a bunch of acid. Nightmare. They get, like, their friends give them a high dose of whatever and then just dip. No. Just leave them. They're losing their mind in a crazy place.
With
and,
people
like,
they don't know.
And their friends are just dipped. I'm like, dude, that's not your friend, because I would miss the whole day to take care of my friend, but that's just me. Yeah. Like, One of my friends, we were out at a Renegade. Her brother drove her out there, and then she's like, "Hey, can you give me a ride home, please?" They left. I was like, your own brother abandoned you in the desert. What if no one else would have, like...
What if you weren't there? Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like blows my mind. I was like, that's your own brother.
That's heartbreaking a little bit.
That's what I'm saying. And it's just like stories like that I hear, like, oh, I was drinking so much, I was so drunk, or I was having the worst trip of my life. I was like, and then they left. And I'm like, dude, there's just no way. Like, I don't think I would leave a stranger. Like,
that's crazy.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, you know how vulnerable people are, like, that's in those states. Crazy. And you're just going to leave.
No, 100%.
Because you're trying to catch a set.
Well, like, when I hear about, so we live obviously really close to Tahoe and stuff, and it snows obviously in the hills and the mountains, whatever. And during the winter times, you hear about these parties or these festivals that happen out there, and then people get really drunk, and if they get left behind, sometimes they end up dying in the snow because you don't feel it, and then because you're drunk or whatever it is, you pass out in the snow, and then you fucking hypothermia, and then you die.
Yeah.
And that's just because you're fucking whatever, they were too fucked up to even think about you or whatever it was. And that's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
My stomach feels sick from that. That made me feel really bad. I'm so glad that I have the friends that I have.
That's what I'm saying. Like, be grateful for your friends. And if your friends have ever done that to you, they're not your friends.
They're not. Reconsider at least where they're at in the friend
level.
And,
that's like something that's always hard. Like, always take a good look at your friends and, like, do a little bit of reflecting and see how much they're serving you and how much you're serving them. And if you guys are even doing anything for each other that's positive. If not, check if they're draining you, check if they're making you miserable or not celebrating your wins, because that's, you know,
ooh, big red flag if they're not celebrating your wins. And kind of a hot take, slight hot take, also your family members, because they'll fucking take from you if you let them. Some of them, you know, so just reevaluate all your types of relationships. It's
even your partners,
dude,
yeah,
I feel like that goes under radar. Good point, Jess. Your partners are an important thing. You actually should be assessing your relationship like almost every day.
Yeah, if anything, more than anyone else's. Yeah,
that's like definitely important, because that's somebody you're trusting to be there in your partnership with, you know, or partners or whatever it is. You're trusting these people.
And you were telling me, did we mention it on the podcast about that guy who just went to trial for his wife? Did we talk about it or no?
I don't remember. But we can talk about it. It was this lady. She's been cool. I'll have to look up her name real quick. Her name is Giselle Pellicot, I think. Or I'm not sure how to say her last name. It's a French name.
Yes.
She's 72 years old, which I don't know why, but it breaks my heart even more for some reason. So she recently took her husband and 50 other men were all charged in the assault and rape of her, because what her husband would do is at night with her medication or whatever, he would give her extra doses or put in her food or water, whatever it was.
Yes.
And she would get knocked out, and then he would just invite men over. And they would just, and for money, obviously, take advantage of her. And he would also do that too. And she only recently found out, and that's why she took him to court, because he'd been doing it for years. He had been doing this to her.
And that's her husband, right?
Her husband. I guess it says at least 80 men between the years 2011 to 2020.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's really hard to talk about, actually, because it's like, I don't know, it's just so fucking sick. It's just so sick to know that, like, and so she has this quote, right? And I think I was telling you about it, and it made me feel, and I told my mom, and I literally been telling all these women it, because it is a really crazy quote, but she has every right to feel that way.
Yeah.
And the quote is something along the lines of, if you think that your boyfriends or husbands are not rapists, I beg you to think again. Because she believed her husband was the love of her life, the sweetest man on earth, literally would do anything for her at the drop of a pin, well, you know, took care of her, all her needs. And it just turned out that for all these years while he was doing this during the day, at night he was just a devil. He was a terrible fucking human being. And she had no idea. And she wouldn't have if the cops didn't even investigate. And I think she had found a notebook. I think that was the ultimate thing.
Oh, yeah, like a log of
like
it,
a log
right?
of all the dudes. Which is like, it's just fucking disgusting. Like, she's a woman. And I'll try not to like lose all my thoughts at once.
Yeah.
But it's crazy that we're in this time of voting and stuff, and we're having to talk about reproductive rights and in general like rights to our own bodies.
Yeah.
Again.
How much we've regressed.
Yeah. And this woman is having to sue. And it's just, it's crazy. I mean, obviously she's gonna win, right? Obviously.
Yeah.
Because there's just.
Because women are taking action.
Because what the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
you cannot look at this and even pretend that there's nothing
Yes.
nefarious going on.
Yeah, and it's like if you love any woman, if you love your mom, if you love your aunt, if you love your grandma, if you love your sister, if you love anyone who has reproductive women organs,
if they
and care about your queer friends, your LGBTQ plus friends, like, then you would make a choice and not care about whatever financial, whatever, this is going to cost a little bit less. Like, yeah, someone you love isn't going to be able to fucking make choices for their own selves. And just because you have a dick, you can do whatever you want. Like, no, like, hello.
It's actually fucking, it's wild. We get so many ads for Blue Chew on all our podcasts and different hymns and that, and it's all Blue Chew. It's all types of fucking boner pills, whatever. And we're just having to keep voting every time
to be able to take birth control,
to make a choice,
to be able to do abortion, to be able to choose not to have sex, to choose not to get pregnant. The fact that getting your tubes tied is such a
hard thing to do in most states. Dude, it's because there's someone out there that know that they will never have kids. They don't want to have kids. That's the point. They don't want kids. So they should be able to get their tubes tied. That is a medical decision that they should be able to make for themselves, for their own health.
Yes.
People should also be able to get abortions for any reason, up to and including the fact that they might fucking die. The fact that some people are dying today on operating tables for shit that we could stop because babies, these clump of cells who would not live outside the womb without this mother, they're dying because we got to let it out first. That doesn't make any sense. Nothing is making sense about this stuff. And it's really it makes me fucking pissed off.
Yeah, it's enraging.
It makes me really fucking pissed off because it's one of those things where it's like, I feel like men can have, or like people with penises can have these conversations and have the luxury of not getting mad. Or not wanting to cry. You know? I want to fucking cry right now.
Yeah. I get it, dude. It's really, as a woman, it's just sad, like, to think about like the future for my little sisters, like
100%,
you know. And it's like someone you love has had an abortion, someone you love will need one, and it's like people think it's so black and white, and it's not. It never is. And if it was flipped, if it was the man, it wouldn't be an issue.
No, it wouldn't even be a question.
It wouldn't have ever had to be up for vote.
No. I think it was Kamala Harris. This is not an endorsement, but I think she was talking about reasons why we would need reproductive rights.
Yeah.
But it's fucking annoying that I even have to even say these things. And it's the fact that they have to be the most terrifying things.
Yeah.
For us to have rights. Like, we can't even just like have the rights. No, we have to make the point to have the rights. And the points always have to be the most fucking excruciating pain and horrible thing you've ever heard in your life.
It's like the one story that's like the main popular one is like the 14-year-old who, it's like that case, who gets raped by this person and they have to have the baby because it's illegal to get an abortion where she is,
even in
and then she dies because she couldn't get an abortion and had to have a baby so young. Like,
and her body wasn't made for it yet.
Yeah.
And then there's, you know, people, oh god, that's so sick. And then you hear like, the only men that I really hear advocating for this stuff are men who have had people who have had these experiences, like you were saying. And it's it's one of those things. Do not be the person that needs it to happen to them in order to care.
Yeah.
Just care.
Yeah.
Just care. Because caring now is going to save a whole lot of people later.
Yeah.
Not caring till it happens to you, it's going to be too late.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's like, I'm not ever one to tell people what to think, who to support or whatever, but just know, like, even if you don't agree with everything one person is going for, you putting your energy and support towards that person is saying that you're okay with it. Even if you don't support it, you're allowing it to happen. Whatever it is, you know, sure, you're not for it, but you don't care if they do it.
Right.
And, you know, at some point you have to reflect and be like,
at least get your opinion out there that that's not what you want and that's not what you stand for. Because at some level, we want to be in a world where our democracy is for the people, by the people.
Yeah.
That's what voting's for. That is for you to share your opinions on things. Whether those things happen or not are, I guess, the mute point. The point is that because they tell you what on like the calls and the ballots and stuff like that, they're like, hey, like, go vote because it doesn't matter. How do I say this? Everyone can see you fucking voted. Everyone sees who you voted, you know? And so that means I can see whether you gave a fuck about my reproductive rights this year or not. You know what I mean? I can see if you gave a fuck about gay marriage being able to withstand.
Yeah.
I can see all that stuff. And, like, you know, maybe I don't know your answers, but I can see that you tried and you gave your fucking opinion at some point, and that's all you can ask for in democracy.
We don't all need to align on an opinion, but, and, you know, it's that thing where it's like, oh, I'm so minuscule, it doesn't matter. But so many of us are oppressed into thinking that way, that like, yeah, if you check the stats, the voter stats are like really, really low for POC. And like, you know, there's like a stat that talks about that people literally just vote for the president and that's it.
Yeah. They don't even worry about the inner
vote. Yeah, like the questions for where you're living and what's going on.
Yeah, because one of the questions literally is what we're talking about is about abortion rights in the state of our state, Nevada. Other states, I'm not sure what's on your things, but definitely go check out your stuff if you haven't already, or if you haven't already voted. I think by this time it's time to vote. By the time this episode comes out,
today's actually, or I think it's the last day to early vote today.
Today, if for mail-in ballots, I think.
No, for early voting.
Yeah, but I think today's the last day to send them out.
No, yeah, and to go into early vote, it's done.
Yeah, today. Yeah. Well, as of the recording of this episode, the day this episode comes out, I think it'll be, I don't know what the date is.
Look at the calendar. Voting day is the 5th.
It's 2 days before or something?
It's Tuesday, so this is going to come out the day after your last day to vote.
This comes out the day after the last day to vote? Dang it! Well, we hope you voted. We hope you voted. And if you didn't vote, we hope you feel really guilty after this conversation because
no, but like, you know, if you did, awesome. And if you didn't, like, just reflect on this for next voting time. And a thing that a lot of people do is just vote in the every 4-year votes. I vote for every time you can vote, just because a lot of the times those like the 2-year votes that are going to happen again, it's that one question that needed to go through again. So like, just, you know, even though it's not the president's and it's not the big one, like your rights are still in that vote again. So just, you know, just keep that in mind.
Yes, definitely. Good points, Jessica. Yeah. Thank you.
Earlier this week on Monday, very sad, but my family dog Brownie passed away. He was a cute little brown chihuahua, and he lived a good long life. You know, he was about 17, so it's like, you know, it's always hard when a pet dies, and I think it's a little bit easier, like not easier, but it doesn't feel as ugly if they've lived a long life, you know. And yeah, that was kind of sad. I was very sad and crying, and I had to leave work, and we have a new stupid point system, and I hate it. And I was really debating on, like, staying at work. But then, like, I don't know, I just had the thought, like, I don't know, like, does this job really care about me that much? Like, or do I want to spend time with my family and just take the point?
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, you know what? I'm going to go be with my family.
Yeah.
Because, like, this job could just fire me tomorrow and they're not going to care.
And they wouldn't have given a fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. R.I.P. Brownie.
I'm sorry, Jess.
It's
and I'm
okay.
sorry to your family.
Yes.
Obviously, little Brownie's very cute.
Yeah. He's
Now
cute, man.
they're
We'll
in-
put him in the post.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Little doggy heaven.
Yeah. Going to the Rainbow Bridge with our other dogs.
Aww.
And I always like, it's always bittersweet. I always just like can't wait till I die because I want to see all my pets.
Yeah, when they're
first, like, and that's funny because that's the first thing I think of. Like, I can't wait to see my pets, and then after that, I'm like, oh yeah, and then my like family after.
I always forget. Like, I don't know, because it's obviously dependent on what you believe and like how you believe, but like because of the movie All Dogs Go to Heaven, I assume it was like a dog park, like they have like a giant dog park and separate from like the human park. You just go hang out. Like there's like a middle section. I don't know.
Like
if it existed up there, that's what I imagine.
Like in my head, ideally, like I'll go to the Rainbow Bridge and then they come run up to you.
They come with you.
And then when you cross the bridge with them, then they're like, oh yeah, here's all your family. Bam.
Oh, okay, I see. They take you to your family.
Yeah, or whatever, you know, or you go and like reflect and see if you want to be reincarnated. Whatever you believe in.
Whatever it is, whatever happens.
I'm just excited to see my fur babies again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good way to think about it.
Yeah.
That'd be crazy. That's a crazy thought. Don't tell me that. If my babies died, don't tell me that. Because I'll be gone. Okay. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go see them right now.
I'll be like, if you kill yourself, they hide. The Catholic version. If you kill yourself, you're not gonna end up with them.
They're gonna embarrassed.
They're gonna go hang out with their cousins, and they're not gonna be waiting for you.
That's so fucked up. That's so funny. I'm just fucking around, but yeah, very funny. Wow. It's hard. I think I like the way that you put into words the way that you felt about it, and I think that it's true. I guess maybe once they've lived like such a long life, a little bit easier to let go. I don't really know, because
like obviously it feels like gut-wrenching and horrible, but it's like at least they did get to live their life out. And like he was the like oldest little man. His eyes are getting a little like cloudy. Like, you know, he was starting to like just like limp everywhere. I was like, little guy.
Aw, that's crazy.
Yeah, but
rest in peace, baby.
Yeah, we took him to Heart's Companion. It's here in town. That's my go-to cremation place, and they're really awesome. They always like do a really good job at like being super caring and friendly and handling everything well. They do cute little urns for them, and you can get their paw prints, and you know, you get your little bag of like their hair and their paw print and nose print. Aww. And then when your dog is older and if they're sick, they'll come out and do at-home euthanasia. It is a little bit more, but it's way easier for your dog to, you know, go to sleep at home. Sorry to like keep the mood down.
It's fine. You know, death is a normal part of life, and it happens. On a different note, we recently went to an art life painting thing.
It was very cool.
Shout out to Jan. I don't know if that's her Instagram, but that's her artist name. And it was awesome. We got a couple prints. I got you a little gnome.
Yes,
from
you got
Jan.
me cutest little gnome.
And so shout out them, her and her partner who were there. He was supporting her.
Yes.
And then we looked around a little bit. I got a bath bomb, artisanal bath bomb.
Yes.
There's some pretty cool stuff in there.
Yeah.
And that reminds me of our stickers again. I'm gonna bring them up.
Yeah.
So we have Halloween stickers or just spooky stickers.
Yes,
Little ghosties. It's me and Jess's ghost. This is Speaking to the Abyss. You can see it on our Instagram or anywhere else. I've posted it. Super cute. And then you can ask me or Jess for that, and we'll have one for you. So just ask us.
Will.
They've been a pretty big hit. Everyone really likes
I know.
them. Everyone's like, they're so
Is this our best sticker?
I love it. I love it too.
I mean, I love all of them.
Yeah. It's definitely up there in the top 3, am I right?
Yup.
Yeah. But other than those reminders, and to follow, like, and all those other things, our link trees in the description.
Yes, it is.
I started playing that Pokemon card game, the new app, and I told you to download it so we can play together in battle and stuff.
Yes.
And I've been playing because nobody has, and I've been playing against bots, like against like they have challengers,
NPC,
like trainer battle things, and so they're like themed or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like 7 in the beginning, and then like, or like something like that, like 7 in the beginning, 7 in the immediate, whatever, and then I'm on expert now. It's the last one.
Wow.
I fucking struggled with the first one so hard. Like for 2 days is all I was playing, and I could not fucking beat it. And then I finally beat it last night, and now I'm stuck on this third one. Oh yeah. So that's where I'm at with it. But I just want to say, if you guys want to add me, also let me know, because I like playing Pokemon, and I like to be good at card games. So
yeah, I've been since I haven't been able to like play video games, I've just been playing like Snap when I can. I'm almost like the season's about to be over, and like I'm almost at 50, so I think I might buy the battle pass. Okay, since I'm like basically done with it. I was like, maybe just get all the perks really quick.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
What is it? It's
Venom.
Oh, right? That's right, Venom, because the new movie.
Yeah,
the new movie coming out.
Yes, so good.
We are Venom.
So cute. Oh, Venom's on the cake.
Oh, duh. That's not that's
okay.
One of those ones.
In my head, I thought it was. Wait, what was my other one that I figured out?
The robot.
Oh yeah. Do you guys know about the cake? Just tell them about the cake.
It's Hear Me Out cake.
Yes,
Hear Me Out.
It's
a trend on TikTok where friends or whoever, partners, whatever, they have a cake and they have sticks with pictures of characters on them or actors in movies.
Yeah.
And they're usually strange characters or weird looking characters or whatever it is.
Not conventionally attractive.
Yeah, not like just a regular human girl, you know?
Yeah.
It's not like, whatever. It's anyway, so the hear me out part is that you would sleep with them or whatever. So it's like, hear me out, and then you show the character and you put it on the cake. Jess is saying the robot from
Rodney Copperbottom from the Robots movie is on there.
Rodney Copperbottom. Fucking Venom.
And the first one I figured it out because when Des asked me, it was a really hard like thing for me to try to guess, because I try to say like Adam Sandler, and then she's like that no. Yeah, because everyone says that. But then the first one I formulated was like Oscar from Fish Tales. No.
Oh yeah. What's
Shark
Will
Tales?
Smith's character?
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah. But
I feel like I've seen the gold digger fish on some people's cakes.
Okay, nice.
I feel like she was on there.
Yeah, so those are the 3 I've formulated so far. Who's on yours? I forgot.
I don't know. It's so hard.
Yeah, okay.
I think
I got 3, so you at least got to come up with 3 in some time.
Well, does Venom count? Because if Venom counts.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so then
we have mutual
you need
Venom.
2 more.
Okay.
You don't have to think about them right now.
Okay,
we could like update. Yeah. Because like you had asked me, and then like that was like a few weeks ago, and like slowly I'm like, oh wait,
building your
cake. Got it. I got 3.
That's so funny.
It's a mini cake so far, just a cupcake. It's a cupcake.
That's cute.
Also, I have not updated you guys in my audiobook life, but I finished all 4 of the A Court of Thorns and Roses books that are out right now. Mm-hmm. And I love the last one. It was my favorite. I did not like Nesta Archeron from the first 3 books. I kind of started to like her a little bit in the 3rd book, but this last one, she stole my heart. Aww. And she's my favorite character. And I also love her boo Cassian, and They tricked me. When this one started, I was like, interesting. It's from her perspective, and it was so good, so good, and I love it.
That's good.
Yes, and then so there's another book that's still being written, so I can't wait. And I like found this video that's like, oh, how to read like her books in order, kind of, or like a general way to listen to them. And so I started the Crescent City books, and I was listening to part 1, and it was really hard for me to like get into like the first like chapters of the book.
Yeah.
Like it was just so much information dumped on you. Like it's like there's these houses, blah 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 blah, and these people live in this one, blah 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 blah, and this and this, blah 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 blah. And I was like, oh my god. And it's just like information dump. And maybe it would have been a little more easier for me to grasp if I was actually reading it and not doing the audiobook version, but it was just a lot, and it was really hard for me to get into it. It took me like 3 listens, and then like the other day it like automatically just played back, and then I'm glad it did. Like it like jumped to like one of my previous save points, which wasn't at the very beginning, but it was closer to like where the story actually started, and it got really good.
Okay.
And I was like, wow, this is a great story. Cliffhanger book, it ends, and then I'm like, what's going on? And then thank you for listening. I was like, wait, what? So and okay, so the other books I listen to on Spotify Premium, because I pay for it for the audiobooks and some podcasts that aren't free. And when I try to go find Crescent City on there, it's not on there, and I was really upset. So then I was like, oh, am I gonna have to buy the book? And I already told you last time, like, I feel like I consume too much audio to just be like having a library of audiobooks, even though I have, I think, like 3 maybe, and I still haven't heard them. And I think that's kind of like what's in the back of my mind. And those were like free books I got from like Audible.
Yeah.
And luckily they have the Libby app. If you guys haven't heard about the Libby app, it is an amazing free app, and it's for anyone in the US. You go to your library, get a library card if you don't have one, and it's a online database. You could download it on your phone, you could download it on your tablet, and it has magazine rentals, book rentals, and it's all ebooks, e-magazines. And I tried to look for the book. I was like, oh, I'll just read the ebook. They had it on there, and it's so popular. It's like a 4-month wait to rent the book out.
Yeah, you're saying.
And I was like, okay. And then I saw like in the search filter, it said audiobooks. So I tweaked it, and they had the audiobook.
Yes.
So I rented it out. So shout out Libby.
Woo-hoo.
If you guys want to read or get audiobooks, check it out. It's free. You just need a library card, which is also free.
And you could also just go to your libraries. They have so much shit at your local libraries that you probably don't even know.
Yeah.
I need to be taking a trip to the one downtown soon. I miss it so bad. It's so nice. I know, we should go. And you should also go, listeners, to your local library and support, because they are very important.
Yeah, and like, I know you might hate reading, and you might have not picked up a book in who knows how long.
But they have other shit.
They have other stuff. But also, let me tell you the hack about books. You're not gonna like a book you don't like. You're not gonna like reading a book you're not interested in. You don't know what you're interested in because you've never looked around.
You haven't read it yet. I'm
telling you, there's amazing books out there, and you may think I'm lying, but you'll find something you love, and it'll open more doors.
Yes.
And it'll help you grow your literacy. Let's not forget, we're like a very, very low reading level state. Some people are illiterate. Some people don't know how to read, and that's okay. Yeah. We have a really bad education system in the United States.
Also because of other horrible things that have happened throughout history. But it trickles down, and now we're here, and so you might as well read. Yeah. You might as well get to it.
Don't let them take away your ability to learn. It's never too late to learn. And what the cool thing about reading is like you can pick up a book and maybe it's a little bit hard, but like don't forget, books are like skill based. Like, and even if it's like you're really old and you have to read a beginner book, that's okay. It's like
Yes.
learning something new, and learning stuff is always great. Your brain needs to learn stuff anyways.
And that's the best thing about a library is that they have literally so many books to look at
And
and choose from.
here in Reno, Nevada,
Mhm.
at the Sierra View Library,
Mhm.
the librarians have a program and they'll help adults learn how to read
That's
and write.
awesome. That's amazing. Yeah, that's one of the I think I've talked about it on this podcast. What would you do?
Uh-huh.
The show, that was one of the things that they did. They did this like yogurt or ice cream shop or something, and they have a man stand at the front, and then he's like looking at the menu or whatever,
Trying to figure out what it says.
Yeah, and then he goes, "Oh, I can't see it," because he doesn't want to admit he can't read.
Yeah.
And so they give him a smaller menu, like a menu on the paper or whatever, and
Yeah.
he's like, "Oh, what? I don't know what I
Can
want."
you just tell me what it is?
And
yeah.
then the barista's supposed to get frustrated at him or whatever,
Yeah. And then
see
what would you do?
What would you do? And all these who, like, when this one lady was like, "Hold on, I can help you," and she's like, "This one says,"
and they're like, "Don't help him."
And then she's like, "Well," and she explained, because they asked her obviously, "Why'd you step in?" And she was like, "Because my dad can't read."
Yeah.
She was like, it's just not his fault. He didn't have the opportunity to go to school.
Yeah.
Therefore, he couldn't learn to read.
Yes.
A lot of people who have immigrant parents hardly can read because they had to make the choice.
Yeah.
Was it education or survival?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I want to also say that education is such a powerful thing. Like, being educated.
Yeah.
Being able to do these things is so fucking powerful. The way that you can impact lives just by being able to, like, help people that can't read because you can read is a lot. So just like, I think it is cool. I think Jess is right. I think there's books. I'm a great example. I've tried to read books and I just stopped so fast, and I'm like, I don't know, I just couldn't give it. I didn't want to pick it up, but then I'll pick up like a fucking murder mystery and I fucking
put it down.
I just read through it because those are my favorite types of books. You know, it's like there's something out there for you. Think of your interests. Go to the library or look at the Libby
and
app.
Ask. You can even talk to the librarians. Librarians are such a good resource, and they'll help you look for books you like or beginner books or whatever. And then, like, if you're reading and you don't understand something, if you're reading something and you're like, what is that? You know, the basic rule that you were taught in elementary school is like, read before it and after and try to see context clues if you could figure out what it means. And if you can't, we have our phone. Google it.
Yes,
what does this mean? That's how I learn a lot of words. You're like, and I'm like, it's really crazy how advanced your library becomes. Knowing more words. You're like, wow. And that's when you see people and you're like, oh wow, they're so extra, speaking in such big words. And
they're
it's
just
like,
practicing their
we're
vocabulary.
We're just educated, and that's okay.
Yes. And I just want to add on to that by saying that smartphones are only as smart as the person using it. Yeah. So that's a really great suggestion, because I do that too, Jess. I I read a word or something I've never heard of before, and I'm like, oh, hold on, let me Google that real quick.
And like, I guess, speaking of smartphones, one thing that I love to do, and everyone like is like, oh, you're like my little IT person. I'm a pretty big tech nerd when it comes to iPhones. I love the Apple brand, and I love their keynotes, and I love, anything I love, I like deep dive and learn about it, so I know all the little like tips and tricks and how to do this and that. And a lot of the time I'll have like clients who like are having issues with their phone, and I'll like help them redo their settings and redo this, and they're like, oh my god, like, how did you,
a bunch of apps open?
How did it does? I love that you think that's the default air. You're like, and it's hilarious because me and your partner will like show you our phones, and you're like, oh, you guys both just have a bunch of apps. But it's like, okay, the chip inside these phones are meant to be able to handle the capacity of all these tabs. We're in 2024. You want to check the specs out? I know, because you don't have an iPhone, it might be it might slow you down. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But I was just gonna say, so like, younger listeners, I know it may be kind of frustrating sometimes if your parent needs help sending a text, making a call, finding something, and like, your parents are going to forget their passwords. Help them. Write it down in your notes.
Yeah. Also, because, like, they didn't fucking get mad at you when you couldn't wipe your ass. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They weren't mad when you didn't know how to write your name.
Sometimes, like, I think, and I think it's sometimes you're, like, unaware, not present in your body. Like, I've had times where, I don't know if I've talked about it on the podcast, like I'll have to help my dad like get a plane ticket to go to Mexico and this and that, and he'll be calling me like trying to set up times, trying to do it, and I get so frustrated, and I'm just like, okay, whatever, like, you know, trying to like deal with him, and then like after I help him, he's like, oh, thank you so much, I appreciate you so, and I just want to cry because I'm like, I was like, why was I so mad, why was I so frustrated? And I'm like, you just need to remember we're all doing this together, you know?
Yeah, well, it's that I think I just told my parents this the other day because we were talking about whatever we were talking about, and I was like, I think it's easy to forget that our parents are also just alive for the first time,
living their life, just a little boy trying to figure it out.
Yeah, and like, dude, the things that we grow up with, or the things that the next generation is growing up with, our fucking parents have no clue about. Like,
no, and there's speaking of like generational gaps, from my generation to like even yours, we don't have that much of an age gap in between us. But when I was back at school, basic resetting, basic like troubleshooting is not something any of the new generation knows, because everything, and I'd never thought about it, but everything they get is in an app form. Everything is like, they don't know basic troubleshooting on computers, laptops, phones, and like that's why people think you're an IT wizard, and it's just basic troubleshooting. But they, you know, we grew up in the era of like trying to figure out what the fuck's going on, and that's why we are so techie, and we can figure out how to basic troubleshoot. The best thing, everyone try this, you have issues, turn it off and then back on. If it has a plug, unplug it, wait a few minutes, plug it back in. Literally a simple reset could change your life. Another thing you guys should learn is a hard reset on your phones. It's not a factory reset. It's a hard reset. It's not going to delete everything. It's just going to reset everything to like
start fresh.
Just
boot up all over again. Once more.
And like, you know, YouTube's a free resource. Yes, it may have ads, or maybe it doesn't if you pay for the premium, but everyone makes tutorials. Get on there. TikTok.
Loved YouTube tutorials.
TikTok. I guess you can put like movies on TikToks now. Like,
oh yeah.
Like in one clip.
Wow.
So I was like,
that's crazy.
Okay, like, you know, TikTok, YouTube, whatever, like people are doing tutorials, people are always trying to help. Don't feel embarrassed to get help.
There's
always learn.
That's a brilliant point. Always learn. Not only does that help your brain and keep you from getting dementia and dying early, but like it is just a good thing.
Yeah.
In general, for you.
Yeah.
Do it for you.
Yeah.
I was thinking about God, the fucking left my mind. No. What the fuck did you just say?
About tutorials.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Woo! We caught it quick. There's
a man on YouTube, and he's like an older man, and he does like car specific stuff, like how to change oil, and he's like the dad. He's like called like dad.
Yeah,
whatever.
There's a bunch of like
there's like
dads,
mom and stuff.
Dads, moms. Yeah.
There's so many. First off, if you've never used YouTube tutorials, you are missing out on a whole
and
world.
There's like a bunch of great creators. You can even Google like which are good creators. There's like creators that show you how to clean, creators that show you how to do laundry, creators how to show you like how to do whatever, like
how to organize, how to meal prep.
If you think you don't know how to do it and don't know where to start, literally type it into YouTube, type it into Google, anywhere.
Somebody has made a fucking step-by-step or a video.
And like, don't ever underestimate getting on Facebook, Twitter, whatever you have, and say, hey guys, I'm trying to figure out how to do this. Can someone send me links?
A link or something,
Can someone give me direction?
And then
because
you never know,
a lot of times your friends can be like, oh, I can show you how to do this.
I literally, I'm coming over or something. Literally.
And there you go, creating a structured network, making your life better, having more physical human connection. Yeah.
That's really good. Thank you, Jess, for sharing that.
Yeah,
stuff.
of course.
And yeah, just to top off on the library thing, they have 3D printers now. They obviously have computers. I think in some libraries they have like kid sections with kid computers, like for kid learning stuff, and like ABC Mouse. Like
and you always want to go check out your libraries. Of course, not every library is going to have the same thing other libraries have. I saw a TikTok where people were like checking out puzzles, and I was like, oh, sick. But then our friend that we did the puzzles with went and checked the downtown one, and they don't have any puzzles. So
The downtown one's really big.
I know.
I
love
remember
that one.
a few, I don't even know how many years now, but it was like for the Christmas holiday, they always have events too, like for kids and stuff, and they had
they in the summer, like even during the year, they always have like reading, whatever. If you check out Sierra View Libraries, I believe is the website, or Washoe County Libraries, they'll have a calendar on there with stuff to do. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this thing that we did, I don't know I think it was with my little sister. It was with somebody else's little sisters.
Yeah.
We did like Christmas trees.
Nice.
But it was like the cones, the ice cream cones. You do the frosting, the glitter,
cute.
the sprinkles and stuff.
Yeah.
But it was supposed to be Christmas trees. It was cute.
Yeah.
It was just a fun little hands-on, fun thing for kids to do.
Yeah.
And for families, and I love that. So I think they just offer so many great resources that there's no reason to not go visit your local library.
Yes. Yes.
On another topic.
Yes.
I real quick just wanted to bring up the statistic that I saw. And again, this is, I don't know what the
accuracy is.
Yeah, like I don't know who they polled, and like I don't know
what the
apps,
study was,
like
or whatever.
Whatever they looked at. But this is men and women and how they perceive each other on attractiveness.
Okay.
So you know how the scale 0 to 10.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that person's a 10.
Yeah.
That person's whatever. Arbitrary. Anyway, on a scale from 1 to 10, men are like, it's like a slope scale. So like 10s, like going towards the 10s, it gets really low, but they still vote for 10s, right?
Okay.
The highest is between like 4 and 5s.
Okay.
They vote a lot of 4 and 5s for women.
Okay.
Women vote. The highest rate that they give men is like a 7. That's the max. Like that's the max a woman will give a man is 7. Okay. That's still lower than men giving women 10s.
Yeah.
The highest they give men is a 2.
Okay.
That's majority of women. Like look at the Jurassic scale.
Yeah. Okay.
That's like really nuts. That's basically saying, I mean, men are just like not attractive to women. Like women do not find men attractive anymore.
Well, okay. Yes. Okay, because then you got to think of like, I feel like I'm not a man, so I can't say what they think, but in my head, men are always more on the physical of attractiveness. Like if the girl is hot, that's all they need.
Yeah.
And women, we need more than the good looks.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it's easier for us to scale. We're like, how nice are you? How do you treat your mom and sisters? How do you know, like, yeah, because appearance could be whatever. You could be the hottest person ever and be like the worst person.
I guess when I read it, I guess I didn't think about it like in that aspect. I thought it, because I have heard you've heard the saying where it's like men can't find you attractive. They either do, like you either are attractive or you're not, but women can end up finding you attractive. Sorry, knocked my microphone. Women can end up finding you attractive based off of that, based off your personality and how funny you are, whatever. Like that'll make you more attractive to a woman. But men, apparently, allegedly, again, this is all heteronormative and also whatever. But it's like allegedly they can't. Like either they do or they don't. And if they never did, they can't. Apparently, I don't know.
It's because women have more cerebral functions than the man. Just kidding, guys. Just kidding.
But then I think, I was telling you how it's just kind of, I think I was hearing like, I think it was some comedians even saying it, that like, well, women just take better care of themselves for the most part. Like we're kind of grown to like take care of ourselves, shower, look pretty, whatever. So it's like, well, yeah, if you're a man or you're a boy who's raised to just be gross and dirty and like not really take care of yourself, a woman's gonna look at you. A grown ass woman is gonna look at a grown ass man who looks like that and be like, ew. Like, so, and I feel like there's a majority of them on these things. So.
Well, and then that's why I wish they had like where they pulled these stats from.
Yeah, that would be interesting to know.
And okay, sorry to pivot back to the art show.
Oh yeah.
I just want to mention how those two friends used to work with us.
Oh yeah.
At the current job we have, and it's crazy to see how much better off they are not working at our job.
Yeah.
They literally, and like, you guys might think I'm like dramatizing when I say like it's
No, they
depressing.
were
People
standing up
look
straight.
like at work, when I say it's depressing, people look miserable. Like, I'm not kidding. It's like a cartoon. Like, people look so miserable to be at work, and it takes a toll on you. And this person that I'm thinking of was always slouched over, head down,
Yeah, they're also a tall
always,
person, but they were like always
yeah,
hunched.
and like literally hated everything about their life, about work. We're just always having a rough time. Very, everyone was like really, really concerned about them at one point just because they were always so like depressed or not being able to like be at that job. And the fact that we ran into them today, they're standing up straight. I never knew that person was so tall, not hunched over. They literally looked like they were reborn. The color in their skin was so new. They looked so happy.
Yeah.
And even the other friend looks great. And I was like, it's crazy to think that the job we're at is really making people look like they're dying. I'm just saying, I don't know. I was feeling a little motivated. That's it. No other comment. That's it. That's the end of the comment. But
Yeah, I was gonna say they definitely stood a little taller than I last remembered. They looked a little bit brighter
the
skinned.
energy around them was so different than what
Yeah, more
it
relaxed.
used to be. Relaxed and like literally happy. Like, I'm like,
less
oh,
intense.
must be nice. And well, this is a really good conversation.
Yeah, lots of different conversations.
Yeah, a lot of feel like I thought this was gonna go somewhere else and it didn't.
Yeah.
But that's okay. I think it went way better than where I wanted to talk about. I think my heart and soul really moved my topics today.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, but let's you wanna close it off with some gratefulness. Just a little throwback. Get back to our first episode values and stuff, you know.
Yeah. There's some gratefulness.
Of course, grateful for both of my jobs, even though they're not the easiest to be at all the time.
Just grateful to have the job, yeah.
Yeah, of course, grateful for my amazing doggies, plus my new doggy Lulu, honorary dog, and Milo. And, you know, for my friends, for my good friends, and
acquaintances.
I was to say grateful for everyone who like makes an effort to like make a connection with me.
Yeah. Before you continue, that just like made me think of this thing. I've been thinking in my head over and over again when things with my friends, I don't know. So anyway, the thing is the thing is make space and see who fills it.
Mm-hmm.
And like that's how you know like who's your real true friends.
Yeah.
In the absence of you, would they fill it to get to you?
And sometimes that's a kind of like a double-edged sword approach, because you may, you know, it is true, but also everyone's also going through so much.
Mm-hmm.
And like everyone's doing that and they're like, wow, no one's hitting me up type deal.
I guess that's why you should play that smart. It's not like just everybody every single day that you do this.
Yeah.
This is a very...
It's like you know, I'm a very like low energy but high energy. It's kind of weird, and I think maybe because I am consistently working on a 7-day basis and consistently seeing people, sometimes it's hard for me to like get on my phone and respond to you a lot of the times. And then like when I do like put more effort into reaching out to other people and replying, it's a little bit like daunting. It's also hard because I'm not really on my phone because I'm always doing something. But you know, I think it's like sometimes you're like, oh yeah, this person hasn't hit me up, but then like when they do, they're like, oh my god, I've missed you so much, I could cry. That was a message I received this week. And it's like, oh yeah, people are just so busy doing other stuff. And just remember that like maybe they're caught up with their own stuff, so maybe they're still your real friends, and maybe shoot them a message. I think a thing I like to practice from time to time is like, sure, taking a little bit of space, but then also also remember that it's a two-way street, and you can also reach out. And then I think that's kind of the more telling thing, like taking some space, reaching out, and then just seeing like the responsiveness of the other person. I feel like that's a better way to gauge it, and less toxic for your own mind to think about, like, and not get trapped in the like, oh, this person hasn't hit me up at all, so they must fucking hate me, because your brain's kind of like dumb and just thinks the worst all the time.
That's anxiety. That's like that video I sent you where it's like that doesn't even make sense, but I guess that's anxiety. But I would say I like the create space and see who fills it, because I feel like it's one, poetic. I love poetry. But two, I definitely don't think it's for everyone. Like, it definitely is not for people who never talk to their friends. Like, it's not for you. Because no one's gonna fill it. It's for, the people who are consistently going out of their way to make things work out. Yeah. And then looking to be like, well, maybe let's just see if they could fill it for me. That doesn't mean they're bad friends.
No, yeah. And
but that's just reassessing what your priorities are
that's like a callback to like reassessing your relationship with your friends. And like also like sometimes your friends don't know that that's what's going on. And that's like where your communication comes in. Because I just heard that on the Two Hot Takes podcast. Like, Morgan talks about how her and one of her friends, like one of her really good friends, was like, hey, by the way, like, every time we've hung out, you're just like doing venting, and like it's always negative stuff, and that's not who you are, and I don't think so I'm just letting you know. And she's like, I had no idea, because sometimes like I said, we're not very mindful of what we're doing and how we handle things, and like that's okay. And sometimes it's nice to remind your friends, of course, in a effective communication. Don't like be like, you're a terrible friend,
fuck you
never text me back, and they're
Why?
like just
I'm
like
in love with you.
But
first and foremost, communication is always going to be key with anybody and any type of relationship that you have.
It's definitely hard, and it shouldn't be, but it's hard to express your feelings, especially if you've always been the like bottle it up type of person.
But I also think it should be the easiest with the people you're closest to.
But you know what? Sometimes that's the hardest.
But it should be easiest. Like, opening up to a stranger, I hear that a lot. I hear, like, especially new generation, like, younger generations, they're more likely to share some traumatic ass shit with a random stranger than they are, like, their best friend. But that's because you don't think you're going to see them again. And it's kind of like you're getting it out, and then it's like, it's gone. But with a friend, it's like, I have to see you again. I have to know that you know that thing about me. And that's intimate. But that's why that you should really be doing that with close people. That's why you should reevaluate who you find
for me
close.
Personally, it's so hard for me to communicate with like the people I'm closest to, because I don't talk about my feelings like that. For me, it's a daily battle. And even though it is so easy to be like, this is what I'm feeling, this is what's going on, it's hard for me to actually talk about what I'm feeling and what's going on, and like if stuff's bugging me. And that's like something I always consistently try to work on, because it's scary talking about your feelings. And every time I have like a thing and I need to talk to someone, my voice starts cracking and I get that knot in my throat, and like my heart feels like achy, and it's like so scary to just like be so vulnerable with anyone, even if it is your best friend or your mom or your sister. It's hard, it's scary, and it's so awesome that it's so easy for some other people, and it's just not for everyone.
That's very true.
And that's why sometimes I'm like, sometimes maybe you do put a little more effort in. It's not always 50-50.
You know what I just thought about?
What'd you just think about?
That it might be easier for people to share really crazy traumatic shit with a stranger or with anybody just like off the bat, because it doesn't take being vulnerable to say something shocking. It's just like you're saying it like as a story, not like a feeling.
You're like, this happened.
Not I felt XYZ when this thing,
because
XYZ.
It's like and I guess sometimes, because when people do that and I'm like, oh well, how did that make you feel? And then they're like, whoa, they're like, what the fuck? Like, I'm fine, I handled it. And I'm like, no, that's not what I'm asking. But
you're right. I think that if you do struggle with talking about your emotions, especially to those really close to you, I think your partners and your best friend and family members Dude, family members.
Yeah.
There's never gonna be anybody who's gonna see the worst things about you and still be fucking have to be part of your
Love
family.
you, yeah.
It's your fucking
And
family.
still love you. That's
yeah. And
Yeah.
so if anybody, practice there first and then
Yeah.
go to whoever you need to, because I feel like practice makes perfect, and it is important to be able to communicate those things. I'm not going to say I'm perfect. I'm definitely not. And there are definitely things that are way easier to communicate
Than others.
You know, it's easy to say, oh, I hate or I'm angry or whatever at some things,
Yeah.
but it's not so easy to say, I really, this certain thing makes me so sad or something.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
it's hard.
Yeah.
It's too vulnerable, but all you can do is practice. And
Yeah.
all you can do is try, and
Yeah.
hopefully, and that's what the reevaluation thing. Hopefully, we hammered that in, because if you try to express yourself and
Yeah.
you're getting some negative reaction or you're getting some type of fucking whiplash from it,
Yeah.
reevaluate, because that's not the person that you should be telling.
Because your true friends and people that care about you are never gonna judge you. And I'm not gonna say they won't be like upset if you feel some way, but like they're still gonna love you and they're not gonna think anything less of you. And if it's like something they don't agree with you, they'll just tell you like, hey, I don't agree with you. And like, you know, that's what life is.
I was gonna say, let's take me and Jess as an example.
Yes.
We've literally had conversations with each other for about whatever reasons.
Yeah.
But there are things that we either didn't like or didn't
Yeah.
appreciate or whatever it was, or just,
Yeah.
hey, I want to bring this to your attention.
Yeah.
It's hard.
It's hard.
So
It's
fucking
awkward.
hard. It's
Yeah.
awkward because you don't know. You're like, I don't know. Is it if I'm saying it the right way?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know if they're hearing it the way that I
Yeah,
want
yeah.
it to be perceived.
Was I too mad? Was I
Yeah.
too cold? Did I not
Yeah.
say enough back? Did I,
Right.
you know? And I think it's funny when like you and me are like in a weird mood because like it's like a bit awkward. And it's like before we say anything, it's like a little weird. Like we're just like passing by each other. We're not really saying
Gauging.
anything. and like sometimes it's nothing. Like sometimes
Yeah.
you'll be like, "Are you mad?" I mean, I'm like, "No, wait, what the fuck? Why would
Yeah.
Why? And you know, and like sometimes you're like, "By the way, I've been acting crazy," because then I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, by the way, if you noticed.
And I'm like, "Oh," and you know, yeah, it's interesting,
Yeah.
but yeah.
And and that is like I guess also, that's the thing about friendships that last also. I mean, me and you have never had a conventional friendship where right off the gate we had so much in common, everything was the same.
Yeah.
We were always kind of different.
Yeah.
But we just connected through our differences.
Yeah.
And that's what made our friendship such a strong friendship.
Yeah.
Because other friendships are only based on things that they have in common, and enjoy. Yeah. And if they have one wrong thing or one fallout or whatever, it's over.
Yeah.
And that just can't happen with us because
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
just not going to allow it to happen. And it's like, I don't know. It is awkward. It's weird. But Jess is the only friend that I feel like I can do that with, you know?
Oh, thanks.
Because I'm able to practice with you.
Yeah.
And not feel judged.
Yeah.
And feel like even if I don't say it right the first time,
Yeah.
she's not going to hate me.
No, yeah,
You
definitely not. And none of my friends out there. And you know what? It's crazy to think that the other person, because like automatically I think of you, and the other person I think of is a coworker of ours,
Mm-hmm.
which you know who it is, and any of our coworkers probably know who it is. And me and this other coworker bump heads a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And in my whole time working there, we have had a lot of issues, a lot of arguments, a lot of like kind of being like hot and cold towards each other, like weird kind of outbursts at each other, I guess, and like kind of like going back to each other and being like, hey, okay, I didn't mean to say this that way.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, well, I felt like this when you said this and that.
Yeah.
And like there's been times where I'm like, hey, I need to fucking leave because I'm gonna lose my shit right now. And I was like, I'm gonna take a breather. And then like, you know, they came and found me later like, wait, so what happened? And I'm like, yeah, well, the way you said this and this,
exactly.
you know. And then like there's kind of like the like rolling our eyes at each other, like not talking, kind of acting like childish.
Yeah.
And then like later like trying to make up whatever was weird, like. And, like, just kind of throughout the 2 years that we've worked together, our communication has gone way up.
Yeah.
And it's probably like compared to the first date and now, our communication's great. And even though we bump heads a little bit, we can resolve pretty fast. And like, I think in that, our relationship has grown to be a stronger one. And like a lot of times people are like, oh, you and your buddy. And I'm like, yeah, but no. But it's like, yeah, because it's just easy to communicate. And even though we might bump heads, we can kind of clear it out. And like, yeah, I'll be mad or they'll be mad. And then it's like, we just clear it up after.
I also just think like that's how it should be.
Yeah.
That's how fucking people should just act with each other. Like, yeah, we can bump heads, whatever, every now and then, but like, let's fucking take our time and then we'll figure it out, because there's no reason to get hung up on things or stay fucking pissed off or stay acting like however you're acting in between, you know?
Yeah.
Let it go at some point.
And then I think what probably moves us forward is the fact that we're in roles where we have to interact with each other a lot. So it's hard to have that awkward tension in between us and have to be doing stuff together simultaneously.
Yeah.
So that's why we have to kind of get through it faster and, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that person and you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great communication practice and like kind of like, I guess, getting uncomfortable in a different way.
Yes.
And that's how you grow.
100%.
Yeah.
That's always the thing. You grow in discomfort.
Yes. Yeah. Feels
like
like
a
you're
little
dying.
plant.
You probably just need some water and to breathe.
Yes.
But,
take it a step at a time, a day at a time. Don't do too much. I'll say that. I'll always live by the motto to take it as simply as possible.
Yeah, but if you feel like you need to do more, because sometimes I feel like
you're capable of.
I would say sometimes I feel like you don't want to act too crazy or not do too much, or like, am I not doing enough? And I think that's just kind of like, if you feel like you need to do more, because sometimes you need those outbursts. Sometimes you need to act up.
Valid. That's true.
And like, I think that's also learning like, oh, I can't really be doing this because there's repercussions.
Time and place.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's all it is. I don't know. And everything is a learning curve. And if you don't already know the things, don't get upset at yourself when you're trying to learn things. Yeah. And boundaries are hard to put in place, especially for some people, people pleasers, etc. Just know that they're important and they help protect yourself. Reevaluate your friends and your family and your loved ones. You know, partners on the daily. Just because love is a decision. It's not just a feeling. It's a decision. You make the choice every day to love somebody and love your friends and love your family through everything. Every day.
Yeah. And then just remember, sometimes love isn't enough. And as hard as that is to hear, you could love someone with your whole being. And sometimes there needs to be more than love. And I guess, just remember that.
Hard but true.
Yeah, but sorry to tangent. I feel like this is a very, I think we're going to call this one, it's a podcast called Tangentially Speaking. Tangentially Speaking.
I've never heard that one.
It's Chris Ryan, I think.
That is.
He's the author of Sex at Dawn.
Oh.
He's this older
Dinosaurs
guy.
at Dawn.
He has really cool people, but his whole podcast is like him and whoever just talking. And like, that's the thing. They just talk with kind of like our podcast, just tangentially speaking.
Tangentially speaking.
So that's what we'll label this one, because we're just on tangents.
Okay. Yeah. Sounds good.
Yeah.
And then I guess to close it off, I'll just do my gratefulness real quick.
Yes, of course.
Well, as always, I'm grateful for my little fur babies and my partner who goes above and beyond to make my life easier. And in general, my mind, I guess. He helps ease it. I'm grateful for my friends. Like I said, like Jess. I don't have a lot. You all know who you are. You all probably listen.
Our like 10 followers or 10 listeners.
But yeah, I just like, I love my friends so much. And I've hand selected you all.
Yeah,
curated my friends.
You heard her structure's a little bit higher to get in than to mine.
So when you're in it, you should know that I fucking love you, all right? I fucking love you. And whenever we're not talking, it fucking hurts me. It breaks my heart, you know? But
don't cry. I'm just kidding.
I'll try not to. I'm grateful for my job, of course.
Yeah.
I'm grateful for the ability to be creative and stuff like that. Today really like
Inspired you?
Yeah, inspired me. I felt like a itch coming on. I was like, gotta
Yeah,
make something.
nice.
Gotta
Yeah.
do something. So
Yeah.
I'm grateful for that.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful for new experiences.
Yes. Oh, I'm also grateful for my family.
Of course.
My mom and my sisters and my brothers. I love them so much.
I'm also grateful for your pets. I love your pets.
Oh, I love your pets too.
But yeah, and I'm grateful for I think we're both grateful for our listeners and everyone that tunes
Of
in.
course. Thanks for putting us in your ear.
Everyone that has one of ours or multiple of our stickers on your water bottles, your laptops,
Yeah, thanks for
your
supporting
notebooks.
us, sharing us.
Yeah, it's the best. It's the only thing we can ask of you.
Yeah.
So we appreciate you. Thanks for listening. I hope you have a great day, evening, and night. Bye.
Bye.